Why did you decide to run for a seat on the appellate court?
Um, the appellate court is a court of correction, reviewing decisions from either courts below, or in the case of the Commonwealth Court, reviewing decisions of administrative agencies and making sure that those decisions were made correctly. And throughout my career, I have done appellate work. And while my trial work or my work in hearings has been before administrative agencies and in arbitration hearings where you're preparing evidence and presenting evidence in an adversarial setting, the bulk of my work, even more of my work, has been earlier in the first half of my career doing appellate work. And I have really enjoyed appellate work. So even before my time with the Steelworkers Union, where we're trained appellate attorneys, when I worked with a state court judge, and I also worked with a federal court judge, I was handling appeals.
What was that aha moment, that exact moment or turning point that made you desire to run for judge?
I think it was, well, I have to go back even before 2021, this year. I ran for judge in 2019 as well. I ran statewide for Pennsylvania's Superior Court, and I fell short by 0.3 of a point. So it was really close in the statewide race. And my aha moment there was many of the factors that we just talked about, with bias, people concerned about bias in our system. Only one person of color, there was then only one person of color in our entire appellate system. And also being a lawyer who has appeared before 3 judge panels around this country, and before administrative law judges around this country, and not seeing or appearing before many judges who look like me or anyone I grew up with.
So for this year specifically, especially in this time of such suffering and injustice, what would you say is your superpower that differentiates you from the other candidates running for office?
Actually have a lot of experience. The other thing I think is important is I have what's called cultural competence, meaning when I was Director of Legal Resources at the Wyandotte State Greater Pittsburgh, I worked under the umbrella of the Center Against Racism. There, I was trained on cultural competence and trained corporations and other people on cultural competence. So I think it's important during these times to have judges who know how to deal with people who don't look like them and who do look like them. I think, unfortunately, in this county, we don't have much diversity. We have 1 Black woman judge and only 3 Black judges. And most of the people that come before us, hopefully me one day, are mostly Black. But yet they don't have people that look like them.
Is there any specific reason to why you are running, choosing now? Or did the election of Kamala Harris give you the incentive to?
Well, I will first off say kudos to Kamala Harris. She's my sorority sister, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And also I'm a link where she's that as well. So, but I have had a lifelong interest in being a judge since I was a child. In part because my mother was a teacher. She helped integrate a school, and I was one of 6 Black kids that integrated a white school. So, and a federal judge mandated that. And it was in the 70s, and you would have thought that they would have already been integrated, but they were not. Also, one of my lingering desires is for justice. I have seen a tremendous amount of injustice during my time as an attorney and my time as a human being. And I think it's important to have people who understand, who are compassionate, and who want to fight.
How do you see yourself paying this role forward and encouraging or mentoring young women or men to run for elected office?
Well, it's always been my stance that, honestly, an African American should run for every available office every election. And we don't do that in our communities. I encourage persons to run all the time. I will give all the information I have about running, and believe me, I have quite a bit, because my brother ran. I helped him for years. I've run for city council previously. I've run for judge previously, so I have a fairly decent level of understanding and knowledge about how to run and what it takes and what you have to do. And even today, with other candidates that are running for judge, I've told them, hey, if you need some help and you got a question, you can call me.
What ways do you think the system has failed people of color, and how are Black women poised to make a difference?
Well, I'll be honest. All of our systems need some reform, and we have to make some changes. We haven't had diversity on the bench, and people do talk about implicit bias and systemic racism, and it's evident. It's evident when you look at the numbers. I can't sit and say, oh yeah, that person's systemically racist or that person is implicitly biased. But when you look at the fact that we have 60 to 70% of the persons that are coming through as defendants in the criminal system and in the juvenile court system are African American,